If you guys have any questions, feel free to chime in. I've taught quite a few online classes, and I'll be more than happy to, because I kind of glance down at the bottom left-hand corner. If you want to make fun of me while I'm speaking, feel free. Anything that you guys want to ask, feel free to chime in. It might be a little difficult to do it verbally, but if you just write something down there, I'll make sure that I bring it up and I can address it. You can send it to either me directly or you can send it out to the entire group. It's entirely up to you. Well, thank you for joining us. I see a lot of people are still logging on and still popping on. So just I'll do a real quick introduction about myself, and then we'll get started with the actual presentation. I started Ultimate Knowledge about 18 years ago. Wow, it seems like a long time. Anyway, my background is my PhD is in applied mathematics. I've got 2 master's degrees, mathematics and computer science. 2 undergrad degrees, mathematics, computer science, and so forth. I worked for Microsoft for a while, and applied mathematics, it was primarily cryptography. So that's kind of where I concentrated on. I concentrated on the security side of the house. When I left Microsoft, we started Ultimate Knowledge, and we really wanted to create custom classes, concentrating on Department of Defense. That was our biggest customer, and talk to them about security and architecture and how this new enterprise, back when Windows NT was first coming out, how it's all going to work together from a secure standpoint. So we came together, we did that. We teach all the Cisco classes, Microsoft classes, CompTIA classes. We teach pretty much the whole gamut. We teach all the security classes, anywhere from Security Plus all the way up to forensics and certified ethical hacking and so forth. So DISA came to us with an opportunity that they wanted us to teach a social media security and forensics class. To be honest with you, I really didn't want to get into social media. This is something that my kids used. I don't really care about the idiosyncrasies of a Twitter tweet or how that architecture works. To me, it's something that it's just a website. But as we took the opportunity and we got into it, we determined that, wow, this is really an opportunity to illustrate security and how it works in this environment, because it's untapped. I mean, if you think about it, Facebook, at last count, the last information that I heard, Facebook has 170,000 servers. 170,000 servers, and they virtualize that. So virtualized, they probably have 3-to-1 ratio, so they probably have over 500,000 servers. Think about that from a change management standpoint and a change control standpoint and patch management and so forth. And you've got the complexities of just being an internet-based application combined with the whole disclosure of information from their user base. So we took it and we decided that we're going to put together a series of classes, not just one. This is the first. This is Social Media Security Professional. We've got 2 other classes, Social Media Engineering and Forensics class, and we also have a Social Media Management and Governance class. So you can go the technical route, where we talk about a little bit more on the hacking side. We've taken some information as far as just the cross-site scripting, creating malware, injecting malware into Facebook applications, how that works, phishing attacks, and so forth. And so we've got that type of information. And then we've got the governance piece, where we talk about some of the legislation coming in. And all of this stuff is primarily still wet. It's always changing. So we talk about governance, and we talk about what's legal, what's not legal. We talk about creating a social media governance group and a board. And then we talk about creating a social media template, a management template, and so forth. So we get into more of the managerial aspect of it. So I'm going to go ahead and start the presentation. I think we're at a good number right now, and we'll take it from there. As you know, from a networking standpoint, I'm not really sure what your background is as far as the people that are here, but from a networking background, social media just really scares the hell out of everyone managing the network. There's really nothing you can do. You can't go in and say, we're going to lock it all down, because the military tried that, Department of Defense tried it, and they were basically told that they had to open it up for their service members so they can communicate with their families. You really can't. If you do try to turn it off, then people just grab their smart devices and they're on social media anyway. So there's so many liabilities and so many issues as far as confidentiality leak and breaches and so forth. It's very, very difficult. So one of the research that came out that we always cite is IT professionals say that social networking is the #1 risk to information security. And, and it really is, because there's so many attack vectors, and the attack surface is so large that it's really very difficult to get your arms around it. Hacking versus using hashtag hacker. Uh, so this is additional stats before I get into some of the actual meat potatoes. Is that the Global State of Information Security Survey says over the next 12 months, organizations will increase spending in social media enhancements. It's on the rise. It's a great and someone did ask questions. The transcript will be available. We'll actually have the recording available. But it's increasing at such a exponential rate that to try to get one step ahead of it from a security standpoint, it's really, really difficult. So this is increased spending as far as the social media sector. And we're just jumping right in. You probably heard about Robin Sage, and Robin Sage was a security exercise that someone created. And if you look at her picture, she was supposed to be a IT professional in the security sector, and it was an exercise that was created that she created a fake Facebook profile, LinkedIn profile, and went out to try to befriend people in that industry. She ended up, the numbers are staggering as far as the number of friends she had in a 28-day period. She had over 100 connections as far as LinkedIn, over 100 connections as far as Facebook, Twitter followers, and so forth. But really the scariest part is that the information that she was given and the opportunities that she was given were job offers, date offers, hand carrying her resume through, helping her with assistance as far as finding a job and so forth. So it's really, umbrella just flew by. But it's staggering as far as how quickly that happens. Emily Williams, exactly the same thing. This was 2 years ago. It's a little more new. It's a little newer attack. She was supposed to be an MIT graduate. She was supposed to have 10 years in the industry. She was only 28 years old, which is kind of interesting that she started when she was 18 in the IT security field. But I mean, could be. But it's the same thing. She was given so many opportunities as far as job offers, insight into information that she shouldn't have. And the worst part about it is these are people that are actually in the security field. So people that had security clearances, people that work in the cybersecurity realm, and so forth. So it happens. If you look at Manti Te'o, linebacker, San Diego Chargers, he was the supposed victim of a catfish attack. So, and that's similar along the lines that was a little more for romantic interest, but it's the same type of attack. In our class, we do this exercise. We do a Robin Sage style attack. And what we do is we actually create a profile like this person, and we go through and we try to befriend someone that's in your group. I always go through, one of my favorite or most common lines that I use is that you're only as secure or you're only as safe as your dumbest friend. Because the way we breach security is we go through the perimeter security first. So we go through and we attack friends of your friends first. And we go through attacking your friends, and then we basically get to you. Now, I'll show you some countermeasures of things that you can do. So if you look at the person on the left-hand side, she's actually was a porn star. The person on the right-hand side was a waitress. I'll show you a real quick, easy way to figure out if you're the victim of a phishing, catfish, or evil twin style attack. And we'll go through this as part of the class, or as part of this presentation. There's just a little bit more about Robin Sage and Emily Williams. So she just went through, she did some social engineering. She went through and created a profile, or they created a profile for her. And the funniest thing is the community that they hit, she was a waitress in a nearby restaurant of the people that they were attacking, and nobody recognized her. No one recognized her. So that's probably the funniest thing. People were duped. They were military intelligence, IT security pros, and so forth. Some of the things that the Emily Williams / Robin Sage attack, identities are valuable commodities. If we can breach your identity, we can do identity theft. The more I know about you, we can go through and we can go through acquiring information. The Marine Corps do a lot of work and still have quite a few connections at the Pentagon, and they said their number one activity as far as social media is getting rid of evil twins. They'll set up an evil twin of a famous officer, a general officer, and then they will do an extortion style attack. So they will try to take money from unsuspecting people that trust people in the military, especially that high rank. So humans are naturally trusting. People use the same password for everything. So once I breach one platform, I can breach most. They say anywhere from 60 to 70% of people use the same password across all platforms. Attractive women get special treatment in male-dominated industry. Us guys, we're always trying to help out. Common security products are not going to protect you from social engineering. Social engineering threats can impact your business, and there really isn't a silver bullet to fix this problem. So the only thing you can do is you can learn some of the techniques and some of the things to be aware of. So the knowledge transfer side of the house is extremely important as far as thwarting this type of attack. CEOs are on board as far as improving competency in social media. These are just some of the statistics. And William Johnson, it really is. And I've got story after story about the Marine Corps having issues with evil twins. Some of the things I want to cover just quickly, that was just a little bit of my introductions. The magnitude of social media, just how big it is, some of the risks involved, some of the high-profile media attacks and how they're doing it. I'm going to go through a demonstration of a session hijack. Now, I'm having some issues as far as networking and hosting this presentation as well as doing a session hijack, because what I have to do is I have to do an ARP spoof, and I flood ARP tables and so forth. So that disconnects me from the network. So I videotaped this presentation beforehand as far as the hijack is concerned. I'm going to show you how to do that, and then I'm going to show you a couple things that Facebook just put in place to prevent me from doing this kind of stuff. And then I'll show you a way around that too. So, and then how do you protect yourself through countermeasures that we're going to go over. The numbers are just ridiculous. As of 2010, Generation Y, also now known as Generation C, content providers, outnumber the baby boomers. 96% of them have joined social networks. It's commonplace. That generation and even our generation, it's an anomaly if they don't have a social media context, if they don't have a social media account. Just recently, they had the grade school shooting. One of the things that really struck me as weird in the coverage of that is that everyone was going on and on about the person that actually came in and shot at the grade school. But the thing that they were really on were he didn't have a social media account. He didn't have a Facebook account. And they thought that was the weirdest thing. He did not have a Facebook account. My gosh, there's something wrong with this kid. He doesn't have a Facebook account. Well, yeah, there's something wrong with him. He shot up a grade school. So, but that was really weird. So, I mean, it just goes with it's part of their DNA now. 3 of the most popular brands online are social media related. It used to be, and I always ask my classes, what's the most famous logo, and they'll throw out Nike or they'll throw out others. McDonald's, the golden arches. Now it's the Facebook logo. More people recognize the Facebook logo than anything. Of course, Facebook says Facebook, so it's real easy to recognize it. But just the logo itself without the writing is more recognizable than the McDonald's golden arches, which is really sad. The third is, which is actually kind of comedy relief, kind of true, social media has overtaken porn as the #1 activity on the web. Now, I bring this up from a technical standpoint. It's actually kind of funny to think about it, but I bring it up from a technical standpoint just because, number one, let's take Amazon.com for example. When Amazon.com first came online, they made no money whatsoever. So they were zero. All they were doing was collecting users and building a user base. The only industry that was making any money was the porn industry. The porn industry funded most of the things that we have today in internet connectivity and web-based connectivity. Encryption, passing credit cards across the web, video compression. Now it makes a little bit more sense on the porn side, but video compression, image compression. I was like this one, rich browser content. So the browser changed just to support some of the activities that were happening in the porn industry. So the porn industry really was driving technology, and because they had the money to do so. They had the money to actually have the website stood up. They have the money to actually fund the development in order to further their initiative. So now it's social media. You cannot have a social media site. You cannot stand up a brand new website without taking social media in consideration. I do a lot of commercial web development, and one of the new initiatives that I have, One of the biggest things is how are we going to integrate social media into this? How can we make social media a major part of this? Because you grow so quickly when social media is involved. And we have to play by their rules now. We have to make it so it integrates with Facebook. We have to make it so it integrates with Twitter and so forth. Just look at some of these numbers. 1.3 billion people are using Facebook. They say anywhere close to 1 billion people are active online. So these billion people share 4.75 billion content items per day. Think about this. Think about if the government came to you and said, here's what we want you to do. We want you to register on this website. When you register, you're going to have to give your name, where you live, some pictures of where you live, picture of yourself. You can take it to the bathroom if you want, but we're going to take some pictures of yourself. And then what we want you to do is we want to tell you who your kids are, who your spouse is. We want you to say who you're affiliated with as far as your friends. Tell us where you work. Take some pictures of your everyday activities. So if you go out to a soccer game, take a picture of it and post it on a regular basis. When you eat, if you're eating something that's interesting, go ahead and take a picture of it and put it up on the website. I want to know what your political affiliations are. I want to know how you feel every day. Hey, I'm feeling great today. Put it up on that website. Could you imagine if the government asked us to disclose that type of information about ourselves? It would never happen. It would never happen. We don't allow that to happen. But we do it freely in social media. It's amazing the amount of information. I did a presentation as a brief at the Marine Corps right before Christmas to talk to some Marines that were going on leave, and a couple hundred of them were in an auditorium, and just talking about certain things that you should do and shouldn't do. And one of the things that I was telling them is you should never disclose your Social Security number on social media. And they're like, well, who would be dumb enough to do that? Well, 300,000 people are dumb enough to have their Social Security number on their Facebook profile, freely and easily found. Some of the things, and I'll talk to you about some of the projects that I've worked on and so forth. Just the information is disclosed. It's crazy. 350 million photos are uploaded to Facebook every day, and there's more than 4,000 photos uploaded per second. It's amazing. And when you think about it, there's a couple things that you need to be aware of that maybe you are, maybe you aren't, is that every picture that you take on your smartphone is geotagged. And I'm going to get into that in just a little bit later. You're disclosing exactly where you're taking that photo, to the point where you're disclosing where you are and what direction you're facing. Other things are, if you turn off geotagging, so you turn that off on your phone, and I still post something, there are applications out there like Creepy and so forth that will actually go out and try to determine, based on the content of that picture, where you are. So you can just point a profile, and as long as there's enough pictures that are disclosed freely, or I've become your friend, it's definitely Creepy. But as long as I'm your friend, I can see that type of photo. I can figure out with a reasonable, within a reasonable percentage exactly where you are. And I'll name some of those sites, and I'll go over some of them if we get a chance. But it's amazing the information that people are freely disclosing. There's 6 billion hours of video, and this is my last stat. 8 billion photos hosted on Flickr, and Flickr doesn't strip geotags. 58 million average number of tweets per day. I can also do the same thing with Creepy, with your Twitter account also, if you have any pictures that you posted. And then 645 million people on Twitter. It's amazing, the amount of information. And there are applications out there like Maltigo, like ZeroFox, and so forth, that basically will go in and they will take your social media context and create an entire dossier of you. So they'll find links between yourself, your Facebook account, your Twitter account, your Instagram account, your Flickr account, and then it starts to make associations based on your political leanings, based on your philosophy, and it creates an entire dossier of you. The things that are bad is I can actually use that to infiltrate your security to become a friend of yours, and now I have even more information I have at my fingertips. And Josh made a comment, delete Facebook account. Are you saying that you're going to delete your Facebook account, or there are applications out there that delete your Facebook account? Because you're true on both occasions. If you say I'm going to delete my Facebook account, there was a study done at Stanford that stated you are more vulnerable not having a social media account like a Facebook account than you are if you do have a social media account like Facebook, just for identity theft. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So just got to show you how to secure it. So you go through. That's a great point. And I'll go over that Facebook actually does own your account actually past your death. So anyway, some other things, top emerging threats in social media, worms and trojans, information leakage, phishing attacks, spam attacks, and so forth. They're all on the rise. They're all on the rise, and social media is a great venue for that as far as using that to launch some of these attacks. Some other things, just too much sharing. There's too much sharing going on, and some of the personal risks that you have involved. 60% of all Facebook users have not changed the default security profiles, settings on their profile. They've gone through, they've had a single password, they've had that password the entire time. They've not gone through and have changed any privilege or security settings, and Facebook has forced them to have certain things they've implemented, like SSL and so forth. They haven't done anything. So over half of the Facebook users, over the half of the 1.3 billion users on the planet have not changed the default security settings. 40% of them expose vital information such as birth date, hometown, high school, current address that can be used by identity theft. Think about some of the things that you do on a regular basis. You have your bank. You go up and you set up your bank account. What happens when you set up your bank account? First thing it does is it starts asking you a thing called cognitive password recovery questions. Those cognitive password recovery questions are things like, what's your high school mascot? What town was your mother born in? Things like that. Things that people are disclosing on social media. It says 40% of exposed vital information. That vital information can actually be used to break into your account later by doing a cognitive password recovery. Sarah Palin. This happened a while back. She had a Hotmail account. Someone actually just went through a cognitive password recovery. They said they want to recover their account. Hotmail's methodology as far as doing that, or protocol, was that they asked those cognitive questions. Those questions were asked to a person that actually is a public public figure. So easily they knew those answers. Same thing with people that actually have access to your Facebook information. They can easily recover your passwords, or at least get through the process that your password is sent to you or resent, or just some type of denial of service attack on your own account. When you're searching for a job, and I talked to this at SAIC. I did a presentation about professional risk. Recruiters, 73% of all recruiters check out your social media footprint. They will actually look at that. It says, according to a survey, 37% of employers are checking out prospective employees. That number has actually increased. The last thing I read just recently of the 2013 stats is it's close to 55% of all employers are looking at prospective employees on social media. Now, in California and in most states, you are not supposed to disclose, or you're not required to disclose your username and password to potential employers, but they are allowed to look at your Facebook account. They are allowed to look at your Twitter account, but they have to look at it from the outside, from a public person. We go through some of the things are actually really kind of funny. In my governance class, and here's a great question. Let's say that I'm going to pick somebody that's been making some comments. Paul, let's say that you are my employee, and you've had a really bad day. I've been really difficult on you, and you go home, a couple of Merlots later, or a couple beers later, you pop onto Facebook. You need a raise. Yeah, I'll work on it. So a couple beers later, you actually go out and you start ranting. You pop onto Facebook and you're just ranting about me. Horrible boss. I can't believe this guy. What an a-hole. Blah blah blah. Right? Now, a couple things I got to ask you guys. Number one, you said that you are an employee of my company. Let's say you put on your profile that you work for Ultimate Knowledge. You've gone in, public environment, you've gone in, Facebook, your personal account, not your professional account, and you made all these comments. Can I fire you? Am I allowed to fire you? Let's see what you guys think. Give it a couple seconds to chime in. Paul, can I fire you? That's the real question. All right, here's the gig. All right, so I see a lot of people saying yes. Here's the way it works, and here's what the latest law is. Here's how it works. Okay, so please fire Paul. Here's how it works. If Paul goes in and he rants on me by himself, and nobody that actually works with him jumps on board and says, Paul, I totally agree with you. Paul, I totally agree with you. I can fire him on that purpose. I can fire him just on that rationale. Right to work state, I can fire him anyway. But I can fire him for that reason. because now it becomes a personal issue between Paul and myself. Here's a good thing, if Paul goes in and he has other employees, that work at the same company that agree with him or even make comments on that particular post, I am not allowed to fire him. Reason being is because National Labor Board, United States National Labor Board, requires that I as an employer provide a public forum for employees to voice their grievances. So employees, not just a single employee. I have not talked about when the next governance class is. We will. Community organizer law. So anyway, so that's the law. So there's a lot of things as far as your professional risk in social media. They can look at your Facebook account from a professional standpoint, and I'll say this in the next slide. 10% of companies monitor employees' social media profiles as part of their security monitoring programs. But here's even more staggering. Just the loss due to this. It just talks about quantitatively what it costs to recover a record, and if someone discloses information that, if one of your employees discloses something that actually is a trade secret or something that gives me a competitive advantage, these are some of the numbers that can actually be lost. It says, according to the same site, the average cost for business to recover a data breach is $6.75 million. It's really, really bad. And here's another thing. 15% of all Fortune 500 companies monitor the activity of their competitors' employees in social media accounts. And yes, LinkedIn does fall under the same risk as having a Facebook account, although it's a professional environment and there's less interaction. But for example, Apple lost an opportunity as far as acquiring a particular chip. Microsoft lost an opportunity as far as a particular vendor, because the people that were in R&D were actually traveling to a location where only that chip was made or only that particular device was made. They posted that on their social media. Their competitors saw that they were going to that particular community. Therefore, they reasoned that it was probably to negotiate this particular event. So it really is, and in the computer industry, I guarantee that number is higher than 15%. But they're monitoring their employees, their competitors' employees, as far as their social media activity. Not just to see what kind of drunks they got working for them, but to try to get some type of competitive advantage. Now, I had to put a selfie in there. I just want to show you how easy it is. I took this picture. I posted it up on Flickr. This is a great bathroom selfie. I took it and posted it up on Flickr. I then went in and had one of my classes download. It was not Photoshop, by the way. I did have more hair at the time. That was 2 years ago. So I actually took one of my social media classes, and I went through an Easter egg hunt. So I said, okay, I want you to find out where a particular person lives. So I put this up under a fake name, and I put the geotag in it, barbershop. That's actually really funny. So I took that, I posted up on Flickr, I sent them through an Easter egg hunt, so they were actually going through like a treasure hunt. They found this picture, they downloaded the picture off of Flickr. There's an EXIF tool that basically will strip out all the geotags. They take those geotags, they put it into Google Maps, and it shows exactly where my house is. So it shows you exactly the location of my house that the picture was actually taken. So think about this. I wrote an article on cyberstalk. If you get a chance, come up to Ultimate Knowledge and read it. I use that same picture so you can't mock me twice. But think about this. Let's say that, and I did this security exercise also, but let's say that I get a picture of someone. It's geotagged. I download that photo. I take that photo, and I pull out the information of where they live. Now I know exactly where they live. Then I can actually go into Google Maps, and I go to Street View. Once I'm in Street View, I can actually look around their neighborhood. So I can find a great place to hide. I can find a great place to hang out in a tree while I'm taking pictures in your window, all kind of crazy stuff. So it's amazing. I also did a security exercise where I went out and took a photo of 10 random people on the street in Los Angeles. I took that photo and I searched for it. Now, we're going to go through content-based image retrieval, but I was able to find 4 people, just based on their photo, find their Facebook account. Once I found their Facebook account, I was able to extract a lot of information from their social media profile, including where they lived. So just by taking a photo on the street. So it's scary, the type of stuff that you can do as a hacker. Does geotag trace the IP address to find where you are? It does not. It actually just grabs the coordinates of where the photo was taken. So inside the actual photo itself, When you take a photo on your iPhone or your smartphone, it basically geotags it. So when it geotags it, well, that means it actually puts the coordinates of where the picture was taken. That's why you can go in and say places I've been, and it automatically knows exactly where you've been when you're taking your photos. Same thing in Facebook. If I post something on Facebook that's geotagged, Facebook can actually track that and show you where you've been. Hey, you were on vacation in Italy and all kind of stuff, and it's neat because you have like little post pins of where you were and so forth. But it's really bad too because if the wrong person gets that information, they know where these photos were taken. Now, as you can probably tell, that's my bathroom. You can't really tell, I'm just kidding. But you can see that that's the bathroom, and if the bathroom is probably at my house, it's probably not at a restaurant. I'm not flexing in a restaurant taking photos of myself, although that would be something I could do. But it basically will show them roughly the coordinates of where I live, and there's my house on the right-hand side. Now, a couple other things. Identity theft. Can wildlife be tracked or geotracked after pictures taken? Cataloging. It can. I'm not really sure if a cougar is actually taking a photo. Maybe a cougar. Let's use something different. Some type of wild animal is taking a picture of itself. But yeah, you can actually take pictures and determine where those pictures were taken without geotags. And I'll talk about that in just a few. Anyway, so a lot of things as far as social media vulnerability. I put this information up there. I took it off after this, but I just did it for exploitation purposes. But here's the point, is that if they know what my hometown is, and my hometown is, I hate to admit this, and I have all my teeth, by the way, Cross Plains, West Virginia. So I went to West Virginia University, and long story. But anyway, so the moral of the story is, if they know my birth date, and I have my birth date up there, November 3rd, 1965. I'm a dinosaur in this industry. But they have my location where I was born, and they also have the date of birth. You can take that number, and it says 44% of the time this was done successfully on the very first try. Carnegie Mellon proved that they can calculate what my Social Security number is, what my entire Social Security number is. Now, it talks about the first 5 digits. But the first 5 digits are something like 70-some percent. 44% is for the entire Social Security number. So if you have your date of birth, your complete date of birth, and you have the location where you were born or where you acquired your Social Security number, I can use that to calculate what your Social Security number is. Now, let's say that you're a little smarter. Let's say I can only get the first portion of it. I only get the first 5 characters, first 5 digits of your Social Security number. Well, okay, that's easy. All I have to do is, on my smartphone, I've got an application. It's called Spoof Card. There's my smartphone. It's called Spoof Card. I can say that I'm calling from any number that I want. So I can say that, let's say David, I can say I'm calling from your house. I can say that I'm calling from the police department. I can say that I'm calling from Chase Manhattan Bank or Chase Bank. Now, if I call someone that I know that they have an account with Chase, all I have to do is, if they have their information up there, and I only have the first 5 characters of the Social Security number, I call them from Chase Bank. They look at their caller ID, it says Chase Bank. I say, hi, this is Scott. I'm with the Security and Fraud Department in Chase Bank. There's been some fraudulent activity. I just need to verify some information with you. I use some of the information I grabbed off of social media. Are you still living at this address? Whatever I wanted to use that would be something a bank would use. And then I say, just for security's sake, I need you to verify the last 4 digits of your social. We freely give out the last 4 whenever anybody asks us. We'll worry about that first 5, but if I calculate what your first 5 are now, I got your last 4 just by asking you. So there's a lot of little stuff that you have to be really, really careful, and it all started with social media and sharing too much information. A couple of other things, and we're kind of moving past just Facebook because Facebook's not the only player in town. But Associated Press. Associated Press actually had their account broken into. Now, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but when they broke into Associated Press account, they went in, the hackers went in, and posted that the White House had been bombed and President Obama was in the hospital. Okay, well, it depends on what side of the fence you're sitting as far as whether it's good news or bad news, but the issue about it is the stock market fell almost 200 points because of that post. Everyone just assumed it was true because the Associated Press account posted it. Now, some other things, North Korea, they broke into their account, Flickr account. They posted some kind of funny information. It really doesn't have a whole lot of bearing on my presentation. I just thought that was a hilarious picture, so I had to work it somewhere in there. Here's the biggest travesty. eOnline Twitter account was actually broken into, and someone put some things that probably weren't true about Justin Bieber's sexuality on Twitter. Now let that sink in for a couple seconds. Stock market didn't fall, but it's even worse. All right, a couple things I want to show you that you may or may not have known about. I'm going to pop out to share my desktop. First thing I'm going to show you is a friendship style attack. You talk about, okay, so what? I accept you as a friend. Okay, big deal. I don't disclose any information. Well, I'm going to show you a friendship style attack within Facebook. Second thing is, I'm going to show you a session hijack. I'm going to have to show you through a video. I'm going to show you some things that Facebook did to make this even harder on me. But I'm going to show you some things I did to make it even better or easier, since Facebook may have tried to make it harder on me. And then last but not least, I'm going to show you an evil twin attack. And hopefully we got everybody playing. Alright, so a friendship style attack. Let me just get through some of these slides just real quick. Where was the picture? What picture? This picture? We're talking about the guy with the mask on? Oh, yeah, it was in my bathroom, by the way, Ken, just in case you're curious. My selfie was in the bathroom. So anyway, so you're only safe as your friend. It says that those that have over 500 friends indiscriminately accept friendships at a rate of 85%. 78% of all Facebook users use the friendship as the number one common as the most compelling reason to accept incoming friendships. Now, so big deal. So you got more friends. Who cares? Well, let me show you real quick. I'm going to share my desktop. There may be a little bit of a delay. Okay. I don't know if you guys can actually see this or not, but I'm going to give it a shot. Can you guys see this okay? Hopefully. Okay. Let me try this real quick. Okay. It takes a little while to kick in. Alright, so can you see that I've got Facebook loaded? You guys see that okay? It's behind a window. Let me try this one real quick. Alright, I'm just going to kind of go slow. Alright, now, if you forgot your password, and let's pretend that I wanted to break into someone's account, and Lori, let's see, there was a Lori. Lori, let's say I want to break into your account. I'm not going to do that to you, but let me just pretend that I was going to. All I would do is I would just say, you're welcome. I would say I forgot my password, right? So now, if I forgot my password, I can say, okay, what's my username and so forth, and say, I don't remember what my account is. And of course, now it changes. Alright, so I'm going to say that here's the account. Perfect. Alright, so now can you guys see this okay? So I say that I forgot my password and here's the user account. Right, so let's pretend I typed in Lori's account. I'm not going to do that to Lori, but let's say that I did. I would type in Lori's account and say I forgot my password. Now, and Lori does not look anything like this. So I could say this, and I could say, hey, you know what? I no longer have access to any of this information. I don't have access to my password. I don't have access to my text. I can't get anything from my smartphone. I washed all of it. Everything is now in the dryer and is ruined. Now, I can go in and type in any email address, right? So I can go in and say this. That's my new account. That's the new email. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose 3 friends that I can contact. So what it's going to do is I choose 3 friends. It's going to send them a code, each one of them. I have to call them up, and they have to tell me what that code is. Now, let's say that I've snuck a bunch of accounts onto your machine or onto your Facebook profile. Okay? And Jesse asks, is there a way to disable this? And Jesse, you're absolutely right, and I'll show you that in just a second. But let's say that I've snuck these accounts on. So I just say, okay, perfect. And it says, all right, perfect. Choose your first friend. Choose second friend. Now, it will go in, and it's got an algorithm that it uses in order to select these friends, but I can go in and choose these friends, and if I've planted these friends on you for long enough, those 3 friends will appear. So I can send it to 3 accounts that I control. Then when I get the code, I just take the code from the 3 people that I control, and I automatically reset the account so I can do that remotely. Now, let me show you how to fix it. Let me show you how to prevent that from happening, because that will be a bad thing, right? Somebody resets the account. All right, so these are some inbred people that I know. And let's go to settings. And I go to security. And I go to trusted contacts. Most people don't even know this is available, but you can go in and say, okay, these are my trusted contacts. These are the 3 people that I know that if I ever lose my password, I can contact, I can basically do a trusted friend reset. It will automatically send it to those 3 people. So someone remotely could not do that to me. They couldn't do that type of attack to me. So I can disable it, but you have to know it's there, and you have to set it up beforehand. And most people do not even know it's available. All right, so that was the first thing. I'm going to have to go a little more expeditiously through this. So we'll kill this. You guys still see my desktop, right? We're good? Awesome. Okay, I'm going to launch a video so you guys get to see just how easy an attack is. And it's launching with the wrong application. So I'm going to kill that application once it's done. Silly Mac. I got too many development tools on my machine. So I apologize. Now this one's going to go really fast. I did this on my Mac. Hopefully you guys can see it okay. And what it's going to do is it's going to launch 2 virtual machines. One of them is going to be a client machine. The other is going to be an attacking machine. So you get to see the attack happen. So I've got VMware Fusion. This is my Windows-based machine. Just want to show you that it's running at a certain IP address. So let's say that you go to Starbucks. You're sitting in Starbucks. You launch your browser. That browser basically will go in and connect to the internet, right, via Starbucks web. You go into Facebook. You go into your bank account. You go into any one of these accounts that uses session cookies, which is almost every one of them. We're not going to remember the password. And I log on to this is one of my actor accounts. This is my Robin Sage account. So, and she's actually very, very effective. She lives in San Diego. She went to University of Texas. She has an IS degree, and she used to work for Girls Gone Wild. So she pretty much covers the full gamut. Now, this is my attacking machine. This attacking machine is going through the same gateway. So we're sitting at Starbucks. You see me over in the corner with my trench coat on. Inside my trench coat, basically I've got my laptop. I launch a little utility. I'm sitting on the same network as you. Anytime you use the same shared Wi-Fi as someone else, you're putting yourself at risk for this style attack. Now, I launch this utility, sitting at Starbucks, and I start capturing. Now, I've got to validate to the operating system that I want it to actually go out and start capturing. Now, I'm going to go in. I'm now Tamara Richards, sitting over in the corner. That was actually Backtrack, the version of Linux. So she's generating some activity. She's checking on her information. She's updating. She's commenting on a picture. Ah, ha, ha, that was fun time, blah, blah. I went in to edit the profile. I don't have to, but just want to show you that I do own the account. Now I go back over, this utility has gone in, it's captured every cookie, every session information that she's passed on the wire. Yeah, that was Backtrack 5. Now I just click on Facebook, I say load it, and now I'm sitting over in the corner in my trench coat. I'm now logged on as her. Now I took this to Starbucks, just to prove a point. I took it to Starbucks, and I was able to capture 41 accounts within 1 hour and logged on as them. I didn't do anything with it. I just went through and I made note that I was able to hit an account, hit an account, hit an account. And it's that simple. There's no technical expertise whatsoever. I just got it on my. Yes, I can send it out to you, no problem. It's amazing. Now, Jesse, you made a comment. Can I turn on HTTPS? One thing that Facebook has done just recently, within the last couple of months, is they forced SSL. So they forced SSL, so this style attack only works if I do something else to it. And Jesse, to answer your question, I can go in, WPS2, it doesn't matter, and you can track, and you're talking about WPA or WPS2, yes you can, but it doesn't really matter because here's what's happening. We're both on the same wire, so that's not that big of a deal because it's a shared Wi-Fi, right? So here's what happens. If they turn on SSL, which Facebook now requires, I can use SSL strip in order to be able to strip out the SSL and force them to use a non-SSL connection even on Facebook. So I can do SSL strip on the entire wire. Anybody that jumps on that wire, I can force them not to use it. AES doesn't really matter because if you're using AES, that's just part of the encryption. I'm positioning myself in as a man in the middle. Access point isolation, you can do the same thing. I can also use a pineapple. So anyway, if you guys want to talk about the technical side of the house, I'd be more than happy to. Shoot me an email and ask me. I don't want to get anybody kind of clogged that really isn't necessarily that technical, so I just want to kind of keep this on a higher level. But I'd love to talk to you about this because it's some cool stuff. Anyway, so I'm going to kill that. One other little thing I wanted to show you, just real quickly. Let's say someone has for an evil twin. Now, I got a question. Is anybody here from Get Certified for Less? Okay, Danielle. Perfect. Now, this is Danielle's account. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Let me start this off with a new window. Probably a little easier. Okay. That's me. Get out of there. All right, so let's do something real quick. Slowed my connection down, you're right. All right, so this is, if Danielle, you still on? Awesome. Now, what I did with this, I've got a little utility that I wrote that goes in and it scrapes your social media account. So I went in and I created a clone of your account. I did it in LinkedIn. Now, I went through and I added myself. I'm following all the same companies as you. The credentials are exactly the same. Your job description is exactly the same. The next step that I would do that I'm not going to do to you is that my application actually goes out and resends to all your connections to tell them that you had a problem with your account, that LinkedIn is actually requiring you to reconnect. And so I would say about 80 to 90% of the people will automatically reconnect, no questions asked. So now they're following me and not you. I could go in and make comments. I could go in and say, I'm doing this today. I just attended the greatest social media lecture I've ever seen in my entire life. I could put things on there like that, and I could actually take all of your followers from you within a matter of a couple hours. Now, it did go in, and I will reject this, but it did go in, and it follows, and it basically joins all the groups that you were in, too. Once those groups authenticate me, and I got about 3 or 4 emails that said that they're going to authenticate me, and I'll just decline those and delete the account after we're done. But it's amazing how quickly this actually works. So I probably did this within a matter of minutes as far as being able just to create your entire account. Now, it takes your picture, everything, all of your contacts, and so forth. So it's really scary because then I can actually make recommendations as you. I've got the same thing for Facebook. It actually goes in and creates an account exactly the same as Facebook, as your Facebook account. So I can actually take over your entire social media footprint within a matter of an hour. Once it verifies me, then it's really pretty simple. All right, now, last but not least, I want to show you how to prevent something like that. So I want to show you how to prevent things like this. So there's something that you can actually use, and I'm running slow on time, so I just got to do this really quickly. But there's something you can use. It's called content-based image retrieval. Now, if you go into Google, let's say, right, and I go into Google and I go to Google Images. Now, within Google Images, I can type something in. I can type in fluffy puppies, right? And what Google will do, and I don't know why I think this is so funny, but I use this in all my lectures, and it's this guy right here that I think is the most hilarious. But anyway, so somebody just took him out of the dryer. But anyway, so I can type in fluffy puppies, and what it will do is it will look at all the meta tags, and meta tags are basically things that are associated with the picture. So when I post something on a website, I go in and I write stuff about it. I say, fluffy puppy, oh, cute, blah, 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 right? So what Google will do is it comes down and it grabs it grabs the image, it grabs all the meta tags, and it brings it up and it stores the meta tags, the description of that picture. It stores it with that particular image. Now, there's something even better. It's called content-based image retrieval. So I can take in Google, I can actually take a picture. Now, I'm going to grab a picture. Okay, Paul, you are now banned from any presentation I do now. Seriously, so I can actually go in and take a picture of anything. I can drag and drop it into Google Images. You got to use Chrome or you got to use Firefox, but I can take any picture from my desktop, drag and drop it. What it will do is it tries to identify that image. So it says my best guess for that image is a monster rehab. So it says it's probably a monster rehab, and it shows you other pictures for it, right? Now, that's all good because you can take pictures of pencil sharpeners and stuff around your office, and I did this for hours. Google, what's this? And I drag a pencil sharpener on it, and it says, it's a pencil sharpener. So I know that Google's like, this guy is he has some type of learning disability. But watch this. I can also take this. Somebody sends me a friend request. They send me a friend request, and I don't know who it is. So instead of just accepting or trying to do a little bit of research, let me see if that picture is really someone else. So what I'll do is I'll take this picture of her. Now, she's probably a good 6, 7 maybe. And I normally get a lot of requests from, 6s and 7s. So I can easily take a strong 7, a strong 8. I get a lot of those. So anyway, so I take the picture, I save it to my desktop, and I drag it here. Now, within a matter of seconds, it's going to tell me, you know what? That picture is actually, I think it's Haley Mathers, who is, by the way, Eminem's daughter. So that's who it thinks it is, and it shows other pictures. So then it shows any other social media accounts that it's associated with. So it shows that, okay, she's associated with this account, she's associated with this account, this picture has been used in all these different accounts. So I can actually go and see if somebody's reusing someone else's picture and it's not really them, because I can see it's really tied to some other account. The other thing that's good about it, let's say you have kids. You've got your kids you're connected with on Facebook. If you want to make sure that your kid, that's the only social media account that they have, take their favorite profile picture and drag and drop and search for it. You can also do the same thing for your picture. See if anybody's created an evil twin of you so that you can see that, wait a minute, somebody else has my picture and they're saying that that's their picture. So you can do that kind of stuff also. So it shows you wherever that picture appears on the web. So few things I want to get, and I'm actually out of time now, but a few things. I'm going to stop sharing my desktop. Let's see, stop sharing. And I come back in. And, all right, very cool. So Andre, if you're about ready to take a certification exam, hopefully it's social media. But yeah, Justine will actually send out an email to everybody that participated with the recording. Justine, do you want to take it over from here? As far as just close it up? Hey, thank you guys for watching and thank you for participating. I'm more than happy to go over this stuff. If you guys have a question, I'm sure my email is somewhere, scottwells@ultimateknowledge.com. And Justine, are you there? Oh, she can't talk. Okay. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, I'm going to type out my email address. There's my email address. If you guys have anything, feel free to send me an email. Drop me a line. I'm more than happy. Any comments, suggestions, or things you'd like to see in the next classes or the next version of the certification, I love to go over that kind of stuff. But if there's anything else you guys need, make sure that you drop me a line. You guys have a great day. It's still raining, so it looks like it stopped, but it's not. So I'm still stuck. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day.